Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would do a video for you guys and gals explaining why I recommend doing all of your maxes at the gym, any one rep max you lift, extremely calm. If you guys would though, please remember to click like down below, follow me, subscribe if you aren't already, and please leave me a comment. I would greatly appreciate it. But let's get over to the point. This is something that for me as a coach who's coached a lot of people doing the max effort method, including people who don't compete in powerlifting, because again, strength is strength. Lots of people benefit from getting stronger. And so we rotate max effort lifts. And one of the things when you're using this system is you want to teach people to treat maxes just like another lift, that it's not a big deal, that you need to be able to go in on autopilot and just hit a max, right? Without thinking about it, just learn to get tight, get in, get under an awkward load, ramp up until you hit a max, okay? And in doing that, a lot of the reasons we rotate movements in that system while you max on different lifts is to remove anxiety or emotional attachment to a given lift, right? Because we don't want to be emotionally attached, because what ends up happening, a few different things happen when people are maxing out. Number one, if they have a lot of anxiety, a lot of psychological arousal, and they don't have huge amounts of experience maxing out, right? So what happens? They get psyched up, they take a pre-workout, they get all in their head, they make mistakes. This is when people get hurt. This is where you see people who do goofy, crazy rituals 30 seconds long before they do a heavy deadlift, which invariably gets you hurt sometimes. This is where injuries occur. People get too emotional. And anger can be an emotion that's a problem there. Anxiety is a problem. And so what happens is if you get all psyched up, you're more likely to make mistakes, right? You're more likely to have self-fulfilling prophecies to where you can get hurt. And I mean, perfect examples. I'll give you guys examples of things that I saw or to where it ruined their entire day. If you guys remember with Justin, I used to have Justin when he first came to me. He was really struggling with 405. He could hit it, but every time he did it, it was messy, it was ugly. Now you guys have watched me put up clips of him doing like 6 to 8 reps with it. I've shown at one time him hitting a 520 back squat. Took us a few years to get there, but we broke 500 like within 3 years from that 405. And the thing is, you know, he was scared of the fourth plate. You know, so it's something I had to help him get through. And I asked him on that, I'm like, why? You know, you get really nervous. I can see you're all psyched up. Your walkout looks horrible. You use trash technique. But when you go just a hair lighter, you don't have those problems. What's going on? It's like, he's like, well, I get really psyched up. And I'm like, it's because you're scared of the weight. I go, you're visualizing. I got in a call with him. I'm like, you're visualizing that 405 driving you into the ground like a hammer driving a nail. He goes, that's exactly what it is. So we had to get him to a point to where he could walk over and put 405 plus on his back and squat it. In fact, I got him so strong that we skipped 405 completely. I built him back up doing some rep work, some other maxes with other harder lifts. And then when I had him do 395 for a triple one day, I'm like, okay, next week we're just going to go in and hit 415. We're going to skip that 405. We're going to skip the scary lift. And then all of a sudden he walked in and hit a beautiful 415 with the cleanest form he had ever hit anything 400 plus with by an enormous margin. He's like, oh wow, that was no big deal. Then he hit a 425 2 weeks later. Then we hit a 445 a month later, all the way up till we got to 500 plus over time. And so the idea was to learn to get people out of their head. This is when people make mistakes. You know, the same thing when you see guys go to bench. They get so psyched up and they end up bouncing the bar off their chest, or they pause and they do a weird thing with their elbows and they hurt their shoulders, or they get scared, then the butt lifts off the bench. You have to learn to be calm when you approach a max lift. Right? That way you can keep your technique clean, you can avoid getting hurt. And I'm not saying at competition don't get psyched up. I'm not saying maybe some ammonia salts or someone slapping you at competition isn't a problem. I'm saying these are gym lifts. It's the opposite. You know, I see that all the time. People are like, oh, it's a gym lift. It doesn't have to be perfect. That is the most moronic, stupid idea I have ever heard in my life. It's a gym lift. That's right. It's not for competition. So why should it look any different from any other rep you do? When you go to the gym, are you lifting to build muscle or gain strength, or are you there to just ego lift? No, most guys are like, so if you came in and you did a clean 10 rep set of bench press and you said, I want my chest to grow from it, would all the reps be pretty? You're like, of course they would be. Why? Because you're trying to get a training response from it. It's no different when you hit a max. So if you're hitting a gym max, there's no excuse for it to be ugly. There's no excuse. It's the opposite. It should look pretty. It should be textbook. It should be clean. You should be focused. You should be in your element. You should be staying tight. We should not be getting hurt on gym maxes. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's a lifetime PR. We should not be getting hurt on these things. And you have to learn to stay calm. The other issues in with that too is the psychological arousal. So this has been noted. I remember Matt Perryman noting this when he wrote his book Squat Every Day. He was doing his doctoral work in that. And he had pointed that out. He's like, the data I'm looking at shows that if you were psyched up and you lift X amount of weight for X amount of reps, or this heavy weight, 500 pounds or whatever for a single, we're showing that your nervous system takes longer to recover the more psyched up you are. In other words, if you take a pre-workout, a stimulant, somebody slaps you, you have Slayer raining blood blaring at max in the background when you do this set or this lift, it takes your nervous system longer to recover than if you lifted the exact same weight. Calm and collect. And that's on your work sets too, right? That calmness. Now, speed work is different. Speed work, we can be violent because speed work is easy to recover from. Max lifts are not. So if you're not calm and you're psyched up, it's going to interfere with your recovery time. It's going to interfere with what happens over the next few days in your training. We don't want that. We're there to get bigger. We're there to get stronger. We need to be recovering. The same thing with your mindset. I had a guy who I tried to get him to grasp this, and I told him, look, I need you calm and collect, and he didn't listen, and he went to hit this max lift, and he tried to ramp up to it, and he's like, I focused on it all day, and I watched him pacing around in the video before he sent me. He's like, I took some extra energy drinks, and I spent the whole an hour getting myself psychologically ready. And then what ended up happening, he tried to do the lift that he wanted to do. He failed the lift on camera. The guy grabbed his water bottle and threw it across his own home gym, smashing it against the wall, busting his water bottle everywhere, and threw a temper tantrum. Why? Because he got psyched up. And then he's like, it ruined the whole rest of his workout. He's like, the rest of my workout sucked. I didn't even want to do it. Why? Because he approached the lift not calm. He was strong enough to make the lift. Had he just walked in and not been in his head, he would have got the lift. I already knew he was strong enough to do it. He psyched himself out of it. And then he ruined his whole workout, ruined his recovery. There's no point in this. You should be lifting calm when you hit a max at the gym. And a competition, it's a whole different animal. That's for a medal. That's for a place. That's in competition. When it's just in the gym, you need to hit it calm, collect, focused. And you need to practice doing that over and over and over. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.